This is Mindhub with Lauren Ashley, presented by Kokoropsyche, Episode 8. What's up, guys? Welcome. I'm your host, Lauren, and if you're new here, let me tell you what the three main goals of this podcast is all about. The first one being to wake you up to your world that surrounds you. The second, to help you nurture the connections between your heart, mind, body, and soul. And the third, to instill within you an unwavering faith in your personal power and limitless potential. If that's sounding good to you, let's get straight into it. Hey, how are you? Welcome in, and thank you for giving me a chance. And if you're returning, thank you so much for giving me another chance. Thank you for rocking with us so far. I'm glad we're aligning together. I'm glad we're learning new things together, becoming better people together. I couldn't ask for a better, more intelligent and aware community. So thank you for tuning in. I hope that you all have been having a great week filled with joyous, peaceful, and fulfilling moments. And I hope that you're focused on your present moments while maintaining faith in your beautiful future that I know that you're creating for yourself. Thank you again for tuning in, and y'all already know what time it is. It's time for that daily affirmation. So how we do it is we take that deep breath in and release. I choose to surround myself with people and things that bring me peace, joy, and inspiration. Amazing. Beautiful. All right, guys. On this week's episode, we're reevaluating our lives, okay? We're reevaluating our lives as we question our boundaries, acknowledge our personal power, and confront who or what's really in control in our lives. We're calling everything out, and we're reevaluating how we've been allowing things to be set up thus far. So I'm very excited for this episode. I hope you guys are too. I got to do a website shout out. Look out for kokoropsyche.com. Launch date coming soon. You guys are going to have access to so many free resources that I know you're going to love. Planners, workbooks, meditation playlists, normal music that just has positive vibes for you to just vibe out if you just need a vibe check. So many different things, wellness tips and recipes, teas, so much that I'm just excited for the community to have access to, because it's like, why didn't nobody think of this before? Well, I'm glad I did, because I know you guys are going to love it. Also, we just got on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, go ahead and follow us and tune into our spaces. We host a live space every Wednesday night called Why It Matters Mental Health, the Daily Commitment. We host it every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central American Time. We make it last for about 1 to 3 hours, where we just chop it up, cash conversation about mental health. You want to share a story, feel free to. You want to listen, feel free to. It's a great way for the community to just get to know each other, for you guys to get to know me on a more live cash basis. So I'm encouraging you guys to tune into that whenever you get a chance. All right. So without further ado, y'all already know what time it is. Let's get into Off the Chest. So for those of y'all who are new, just now tuning in, Off the Chest is our segment that directly involves our community members, and hopefully soon you too. It's a safe space to celebrate, vent, seek advice, or ask questions. Submissions are always received and respected. All that we ask, aside from you keeping it 100% real, is that you be, actually, I said that backwards. That's so funny. All that we ask, aside from you guys being freaking respectful, please always be respectful, is that you keep it 100% real as you get it off the chest. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave that one in because that was just a relieving blooper. And we all need a blooper too every now and then. So, you're reminded nobody's perfect, not trying to be that. All right, guys. So on today's submission is from Rob B. And thank you so much for your submission, Rob B. And it states, I feel like most of my friends use me, and I'm finally starting to notice it. I used to only feel happy when I was with my friends or someone I really liked. Now I feel just as bad no matter who I'm with or what I'm doing. I just need help. I don't want to feel this way anymore. Wow, Rob, thank you so much for that submission, because I know that there are plenty of people out here who can relate to how you're feeling. I know that I definitely can. So thank you so much for just, keeping it real. Wow, there's so many things I want to say, but first, thank you for keeping it real and thank you for trusting me. I want to start off by saying you are not alone in such trials. I repeat, you are not alone in such trials. I am no stranger to feeling used by those closest to me. This was actually an ongoing trial that started for me in middle school, and I didn't even fully overcome it until recently because the issue kept being reintroduced in my life. And there's always this saying of like, you're going to keep dealing with the problem until you face it and get over it, right? So yeah, first introduction in middle school, didn't accomplish it and get over it until very recently, like literally the last year, like at the end of last year, in my opinion. For me, I always struggled with saying no, and I know I'm not alone in that, right? And I used to base the value of myself off of the validations of others. This is a very detrimental thing to do, in that I'm constantly discouraging people from allowing to let themselves do so as well. Because I know from firsthand, how horrible that can be. You should never, and I repeat, never surrender your power so much so that your worth, happiness, peace, and fulfillment is solely based off of the fleeting whims of another human being who can barely sustain these things for themselves. When you think about that, it's like they barely got it together themselves. So the last thing I need to be doing is putting my happiness, my well-being in their hands, my value in their hands. When people barely value themselves, and that's just the honest truth. You have to learn to value yourself. Rob, I challenge you to question why you're used to, or why you used to feel your happiest when you were around your friends. I want you to question that and really ask yourself, what was the reason that you felt your happiest when you were around your friends? And, when did you notice that change? When did you notice that it didn't matter if you were with them or not, that you started just, continuously being unhappy? Was it when you started feeling used, or, really question that? Was it something at home or on the outside that was just getting worse? Or, it's good to understand that, because when gone unchecked, we tend to allow distractions to serve as temporary remedies. Friends, school, work, clubs, drinks, social media, family, you name it, So I challenge you to acknowledge the fact that those friends were distractions from your true trials. I truly believe that. Be brave, open your heart and open your mind, and take your power back. If you feel you are being used, then you probably are. Trust your intuition. Either confront them, stand in your truth, and give them a chance that they may change so that they may treat you better if they genuinely want to change, if they genuinely don't know. Or cut them off, cut the cord, cut them completely off if they're not willing to do that. Why? Because you're not anyone's tool. Stand up. You are not anyone's tool. Don't allow yourself to be so. The first step towards changing is acknowledging the fact that you don't want to do or be a certain way any longer. The second is to take consistent action. Friends come and go. Moments, they come and go. Rejoice. You're curious, which means you're ready for your awareness to grow. You no longer feel like the mask of false happiness is necessary when you're around them because you're seeing the truth in their ways. You're growing, you're healing, you're aware and you're strong. The right people will come to you at the right time. They always do. And they always come when you least expect it. And they mostly come when you're focusing on you. So focus on you. Love you. Honor you, celebrate you, get to know you, and begin to heal each and every day at your own pace, in your own way, in a healthy way. All right? This is just your beginning to better days. And I'm so excited that you're ready to grow. And watch, you'll look back and you'll be like, so happy that's the past because this beautiful future is so bright. Really, this beautiful present is so bright. All right? Thank you so much for that submission, Rob. And I'm wishing you so much love and light. Good luck. All right. And if any of you guys ever want to send in a submission, you're more than welcome to. I encourage you to. I want to hear from you guys. I see all my active listeners, but it's nothing compared to the submissions I'm getting in. So send me a little something. Let me hear from you. Right now, we're taking them in direct message on Instagram. So you can just go to our profile and DM us, or you can go to our highlight that says podcast. If you click a couple times, you'll see the off the chest post. You can just respond to that as a message. Give us a submission. Tell us what you want us to know. You can request to be anonymous, or you can request to go by a particular screen name. All of you are welcomed, and I cannot wait to hear from you. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the juice of this episode. Who is really in control? Awesome, guys. So I'd like for us to start by briefly discussing personal power and its importance. I've noticed how I'm always advocating it for you guys, but I've never broken it down in a podcast episode before. I always do it, on our Instagram page. So I'm like, why not? Let's get into it. So what's personal power? Personal power is a form of your free will. It's your ability to live in your truth and create your desired reality. Personal power is your identity. Each time you allow for your power to be stripped of you, you in turn allow for your identity to be silenced or stolen. Personal power is that important. It is you. It's your eternal flame. It's your embrace. It's your courage, your confidence, your being, Many people walk around asleep. There are many sleepwalkers in this world. I'm sure some of y'all have heard that before. They walk around asleep, unaware to the truth of the world that surrounds them and the lives that they're choosing for themselves. Yes, that was deep. They are unaware of the world that surrounds them and the lives. They're unaware of the lives that they're choosing for themselves. Can you believe that? Do you understand how mind-blowing that is? Like being unaware of the choices the fact that you're creating your reality, your life, and then you're wondering why does this keep happening or why partially you. Where do I want to go with that? I want to go with that by saying with personal power comes self-awareness. Awareness of your potential, awareness of your character, of your behavior, and of its effects. When you lack the blessing of being aware of your power, you then unknowingly surrender it to those around you. Yes, you naively give them permission to dictate your life the way that they see fit. I think y'all can see how bad or detrimental this can be, right? Giving someone else authority, complete authority of your life, and being it. You just go ahead and create my life how you want it. I'm gonna just sit down and let you do all the work. That does not sound like a good idea to me, and I'm hoping it doesn't sound like a good idea to you as well. You know, allowing other people or things to steal your power from you is a dangerous decision, and I'm not sure that I can ever understand why someone would allow that for themselves. I'm sure you can understand why that's a dangerous decision, right? I mean, no one knows you better than you know yourself. Your desires, your pain, your fears, your weaknesses, you name it. No one knows you better than you know yourself. I don't care what you tell yourself. Your mama, your soulmate, nobody knows you better than you know yourself. And that's facts. Once you surrender your personal power, it's all over. There goes your identity. There goes your stable mental health. There goes your chance to exercise your free will and create a life for yourself in the way that you see fit. You don't get that back. No, I don't allow that for myself. No, I don't want you to allow that for yourself either. You see, I refuse to surrender my free will, and I refuse to surrender my well-being to anyone or anything else any longer. And I hope that you're feeling the same way. Listen, own your personal power because it's your birthright. Own your personal power because without it, you couldn't possibly reach the fruition of your goals. Own your personal power because without it, you will start validating yourself through the forever changing eyes of others. You will make your value their choice or its choice. You will put your value in a degree, for instance. Never do that. Own your personal power because without it, you will become an empty, shallow shell, a zombie with no purpose. And I don't think anybody deserves that. At the end of the day, I want you to understand personal power as we lean into boundary because they're all connected. And at the end of this episode, I'll leave you guys with a few pointers or reminders of how to maintain that personal power. But for now, I'm just wanted us to get to the importance of what that is. And so now let's go into how we maintain our boundaries, shall we? So what are boundaries, right? Well, I've made up a sentence or two, not made up, but thought of. And they are the personally instilled guards of your mind, heart, body, and soul. They form when you decide to put your well-being above all else, and they're maintained through your daily practices of personal power and self-awareness. So you can see how important boundaries are, right? Boundaries consist of mainly implementing them. Knowing when it's time for someone to go home, and get out of your house. Knowing when you don't need to come into work just because they asked you to. You don't need to, so you don't. Standing in the fact that you wish to not discuss something, and so you don't have to because you don't want to. Implementing your personal space. Give me 50 feet. You know what I mean? Boundaries come in many shapes and forms. Emotional boundaries, social boundary, physical boundaries, mental boundaries, and they all matter. Boundaries is knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no. They're a day-to-day practice, and They get easier over time, especially if you're used to being a yes man of a person who avoids saying no. It's hard at first to implement boundaries, but it's so worth it. And it gets easier as time passes. And maybe somebody might ask, well, why are boundaries so important, right? They're important because they're a form of living in your truth, in exercising your human right to create your life experience the best way you see fit for yourself. They're daily obligations that must be upheld and adhered to in order for you to maintain a safe, healthy, and joyous lifestyle because, hello, you deserve it, and you know you do. Without boundaries, you'll allow people or things to exist in your life unchecked, and they will begin to step out of line and or overwhelm you one way or another. It's bound to happen. Sometimes this is unintentionally done, and people may not know that they're, crossing a line that you never drew, or you're unintentionally allowing something to do so as well, right? Other times, people know what they're doing, and unfortunately, they choose to prey on the weakness of others, or you're intentionally allowing something to run amok in your life and serve as a mask or distraction. It could be one of those four things. Either way, without boundaries, you lose your power. Without your power, you lose your identity. And without your identity, you cannot live as your true self freely, peacefully, and joyously. You cannot live the life that you deserve, the one that you crave, the one that you know you deserve. Which brings me to my third and main point. Who or what is really controlling you? Do you know? Is it you? Are you sure? In this life, we go to school, we go to work, we engage with family, friends, we have our leisure activities, we engage in different things. But the one thing I noticed is that many of these things are simply masks. Are you allowing school to control your life? Yes, you have a goal to reach, but I don't care what anyone says. It should not take over every freaking aspect of your world. Everything deserves a boundary. Your studies deserve a boundary. You need to know when you need to take a break, boo. That 1 hour is not going to kill you. Work. I get it. You're a breadwinner. You're taking care of your family. You're trying to save up. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. Work needs its boundary. You're going to kill yourself over money? And that's not an over-exaggeration. It'll happen over time. It happens to thousands, if not millions of people who allow work to go unchecked in their lives. They don't know when it's supposed to be me time, as if they feel like they don't deserve me time, nothing time, me just being me, doing what I love to do. You deserve that. Is work controlling you? Or are you putting a boundary on that? And what about family? Are you allowing their values, their thoughts of you, their perceptions of you dictate and control your life? Are you living in the shadows? How long are you going to be comfortable doing that? I know you're exhausted. I know you're ready to be free. When are you going to allow yourself to be the main author of your story instead of the freaking subwrite in the back? When are you going to take control? And what about your friends? You allowing your friends to control you? You're shaping how you think and how you speak based off of how they think and how they speak? What are you, a puppet? And they're your ventriloquist? Really question yourself. Question how you've been acting. Question what you desire. Question what you've been allowing. Question who is in control. And what about, the drinks? The alcohol, the smoking, the drugs. Are you allowing it to mask you? Are you going to face what you're trying to run from? Or are you just going to keep running until you physically cannot run anymore? I'm not saying people only drink just to run, but the people who know I'm talking to them, they know I'm talking to them. Are you controlling your drinks, or are your drinks controlling you? Be honest with yourself. Who is in control right now? And don't lie and say it's you. There's something you've been surrendering your power to. And you were meant to hear this message today so you can question that. And so you can return your power to its rightful owner. And that is you. And don't forget about emotions either. Is your emotions controlling you, or are you controlling your emotions? Are your thoughts controlling you, or are you controlling your thoughts? Nobody's saying it's easy, but are you even putting in an effort to do so? Life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. The most we can do is do our best to build an ideal life for ourselves. And that's why I want you guys to always question who is in control. Question school, work, family, friends, leisure activities. Really look at all those things and say, who is really in control? I think this is controlling me. I only act out when this happens, or I'm freaking exhausted because I'm putting my all into this and nothing into myself, or I'm freaking an exhausted mother because I love my children to death and I'm giving them the world. Yes, baby, you do love them, but you got to love you too. Because you don't even see how you're showing up less because you're not taking care of yourself more. Isn't that ironic? Something you love, you want to give your all to. You're showing up less because you're not caring for yourself. So please, check yourself and remind yourself who's really in control. Take your power back. And with that power, I want to leave you guys off with something that I saw online on a Forbes article written by Bonnie Marcus. They listed out 10 steps to own your personal power. And I really liked it. So I just wanted to leave you guys with this one. 1, acknowledge and declare your ambition. 2, replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. 3, advocate for yourself and for others. 4, ask for help when you need it. 5, speak up and share your opinions and ideas. 6, acknowledge your fears. 7, schedule quiet time. 8, build a supportive network. 9, maintain a growth mindset, meaning keep an open mind. And 10, always practice self-care, something that Kokoropsyche advocates wholeheartedly. Check that website, coming soon. All right, guys, I just want you to remember that you are who you decide to be. So decide for yourself who you want to be and what life you want to live. You may not be able to always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you choose to respond to it. All right? Now, with that being said, I'm pretty sure we're done with this episode. And I get it. Some people might not align with what I said, but hey, you're not supposed to. Have your own mind, your own heart. You know, maybe you weren't meant to hear it from me. You know, maybe someone else will establish and go into further detail about what I stated, and you can understand it through their mouths, through their mind. I just want you to keep an open mind to the messages being instilled here. Do your research, ask yourself questions, and just care for yourself, because that's all I want for you guys. All right? Awesome. And so you already know what time it is for my regs. It's time for that daily quote. And guys, I was a little greedy today and I came across 2 quotes. They're both short, but I really love them. The first one's anonymous and it states, "No one has power over you unless you give it to them. You are in control of your life and your choices decide your own fate." Come on now. I know y'all like that one because I like that one. That one was deep. And then the second one, "Control your own destiny or someone else will." Jack Welch. Okay, Jack, tell them. Control your own destiny or someone else will. So what you willing to do? What you trying to do? I'm trying to control mine. I don't know about you. Alright, guys, life's slippery. I'm hoping that trust is being established for you to be able to take my hand. I am deeply honored and incredibly thrilled to be raising here, right now, raising awareness and nurturing the connections between the mind, body, and soul with you guys. I appreciate you and I thank you for deciding to spend some of your valuable time with me. The goal is balance within. So you know what I say, y'all. I say, let's heal together. I'll see you next week. Please note that this podcast or any other resources from Kokoropsyche.com should not be replaced with professional mental health care. If you feel you would benefit, please reach out to a provider in your area. Have a beautifully blessed and purposeful day. And thank you for supporting Kokoropsyche.com. I'll see you guys next week.